Niklsun here, and welcome to Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. I'm your host, and on this show, we'll be covering all of the day's big movie news, as well as going over what it means for the production in general, such as casting decisions, trailer announcements, director announcements, things like that. So, without any further ado, let's get started with today's Hot Topics. So it looks like a lot of Comic-Con exclusives or potential Comic-Con exclusives are being revealed before their actual panels. So we had the Lord and Miller directing Han Solo spin-off movie come out. And now two more over the past 24 hours have dropped. At least these are potential. We still don't know if these are, if at least this first one is confirmed. The second one is, I'm pretty sure it's already been confirmed by Variety. But the first one here, it comes direct from Heroic Hollywood, LMAMB's new website. Colin Trevorrow is rumored to be set for director of Star Wars Episode 9, and they will most likely be actually walking him out on stage on the panel tonight. So, okay, what does this mean? It's been rumored for a while that J.J. Abrams would actually be coming back to direct Episode 9. Now, that made sense from a story standpoint. You have him start off the trilogy, but because of the accelerated release schedule, we're getting Episode 8 less than a year and a half before or after Episode 7. That's just for most filmmakers on a film this size, that's too quick to have the same director on board. They won't be able to get the story 100% perfect. They need somebody else to come in and work on that one. So the rumor was that as soon as Episode 7 was done, J.J. Abrams was going to start immediately at work on Episode 9. He also helped create the entire new franchise. He wasn't the person, but he was part of the overall brain trust. And so it made a lot of sense for that to happen. Now, after the success of Jurassic World, this to me makes even more sense for a couple of different reasons. Not just the monetary value, not just the fact that Jurassic World is now, I believe, number 4 on the all-time box office list. That has a lot to do with the franchise itself, but on top of that, it has to deal with Colin Trevorrow's excellent use of both nostalgia and new events to actually tell what I felt was an actually compelling story. I actually really did enjoy Jurassic World. There were flaws, absolutely. Every movie has flaws. This movie was nowhere near perfect, but it was the exact movie I feel that it needed to be. Could it have been a little bit more fun? Maybe, but I don't see where. Like, I don't see how certain things that they would have included in this movie would not have just been overkill, because I felt that the movie on its own actually worked really well. It was very reminiscent of the first Jurassic Park movie. Yes, there was a lot more CGI, but that's just the world that we live in. Like, that's something I got over almost immediately, because that is just the very nature of big budget storytelling, is that they're going to use CGI. It's how they use it and whether or not it actually works within the story. And I felt that based on what we saw with Jurassic World, it really helped add to the story. There were a lot of elements that they just could not have done with practical effects. And for those of you who've seen the movie, any scenes where the raptors were actually in those like little headgear things, not the cameras, but the actual like muzzle things, those were actual prosthetics. They just used CGI to enhance them. So you saw the eyes move, you saw the lips kind of curl up, and you could see them moving a little bit. That was all CGI, but the actual structure there was practical. They used a lot of practical effects to build from. And I really like that approach. That is, I think, something that is inherently necessary when telling a Star Wars movie, because, especially in this day and age, Star Wars needs to not only be nostalgic and really be true to the original trilogy, but it does need to be updated for modern audiences. And I think somebody who has handled such a property like Jurassic World, I think that is definitely the way to go. Now, whether or not this is true is still light years away. I mean, we might actually find out tonight at the Lucasfilm panel, which, by the way, if you guys don't know, the Lucasfilm panel will be at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, until, I believe, it'll be 7 Pacific Standard Time, which will be 10. It's about an hour and 15, hour and a half long panel. Mostly it's going to be about The Force Awakens. We're going to get a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. I'm going to be covering that later on today. Later on today anyway, because I'm really excited. This is one of the biggest panels that I'm excited for. So check back for that to see if this news actually does get confirmed. But as it stands right now, I am on board with this. I mean, being able to work within a big budget property, being able to work with the studio and not butt heads with them. I mean, there obviously probably were disagreements on the set of Jurassic World. There were probably things that Trevorrow wanted to include in the movie. The studio just did not want to be in there. Absolutely, that's bound to happen. The fact remains is that this is, at least to me, this is coming across like a James Gunn situation or a Russo brothers situation. Somebody who not only is able to infuse their own vision and their own message into the movie, if you will, but also be able to play ball with the studio and understand what they are trying to get done by this property and work with them to incorporate those sections while still making it fit within the story and not making it seem forced, a la Amazing Spider-Man 2. Or, well, I'm actually not even going to name off all the films because it's a really long list. But as it stands right now, I'm on board with this. This is a really great choice. I mean, anyone who has not seen Safety Not Guaranteed, you need to see it. It shows that he can tell a character-driven sci-fi story with really cool elements to it. Like, there's not a lot of special effects in that movie, but it feels really cool. It feels really big. Like, it feels like it's got a lot of big budget potential to that story. And then we saw what he was able to do with a big budget movie with Jurassic World. This, to me, makes a lot of sense. We're probably going to get more information tonight, so stay tuned for that. Episode 9 is slated for release in 2019. We still don't have an exact release date, but judging by Episode 8 releasing in May, and then the Han Solo standalone movie releasing in May, I think we're back to a May release schedule. So it'll probably be late May, like Memorial Day weekend of 2019 will probably be the release. But check back later on tonight for the Lucasfilm panel recap here on Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. And if we do get more information about this topic, then I will definitely update you guys on here. This next story here is not quite as surprising because we've been guessing this ever since it was pretty much announced that he was going to be in the film, but it looks as though, well, it hasn't been confirmed by WB. We're probably going to get that tomorrow morning at their panel at 10:30 Pacific Standard Time. But Ben Affleck is set to co-write and direct the upcoming Batman standalone film, likely going to be titled The Batman, which, by the way, I love that title. And this isn't even the biggest news. Jeff Johns is going to be co-writing the movie. Jeff Johns is the chief creative officer at DC Comics. He's been the voice and a lot for DC, and a lot of people have been asking, is Jeff Johns going to actually be involved in the DC cinematic universe? And a lot of people have kind of balked at that, saying, no, he's in charge of, partly the DC animated world, and he's got the TV shows that he's been a part of and helping produce. But he won't be a part of the DC cinematic universe. That's been the common theory. That's been the common kind of comment, if you will. But this coming up, him co-writing with Ben Affleck, I think this could work out to be a very unique situation, because not only do you have Ben Affleck, who is one of the world's biggest Batman fans. I mean, tell me anybody out there, resources aside, who has a Bat cave in their house. Now, whether or not that gets lost in the divorce is another question, but the fact remains that he is, I mean, look, he's done 3 films, okay? Ben Affleck has done 3 movies. That's it. Those movies just happened to be, his directorial debut was Gone Baby Gone, which, when I saw that movie, I was floored by the fact that that was a first-time director. Because you had, Michelle Monaghan, you had Casey Affleck, you had Morgan Freeman in this amazing, intense story. And it didn't look like it was from novice hands. He followed that up with The Town, which was one of the best, if not the best, heist film in the last decade. I mean, it was just absolutely masterful. There were compelling characters. You rooted for the bad guys, even though you understood their moral complexity. And that's probably one of the biggest factors of Ben Affleck's directing career. He deals immensely with morality complex characters. Morally complex characters, all right? Who does that spell? Batman, all right? This is a guy who toys every single night with the idea of killing somebody because of an event that happened to him as a child. Now, he rarely, if ever, actually does kill people, but he is the person who contemplates that on a daily basis. Is he going to pummel this guy to death? I mean, he always has to stop himself. And so that's one of the fascinating things about Batman. I think that's the type of Batman that we're going to get. Just looking at the trailer that we got, you see that one shot of Ben Affleck just staring at the Batsuit. When I went and saw the Batman v Superman IMAX event, you could see just the anger in his face. You could see the anger in his body language. Just not just he had like just a smoldering face. It was you could tell the boiling aspect of it. He was literally holding back the rage. And for an actor to be that subtle yet that overt at the same time, that's a true quality. And getting somebody like that to not only portray the Batman, which we're going to be able to see in March of next year, but handling the directorial reins and co-writing the script, this is going to be one of the most likely, hopefully, this movie could end up being bad. I highly doubt it. This movie could end up being bad, but this could be the most well-rounded Batman that we've seen. And I don't mean that he looks bloated on the EW covers. That's not what I mean. This could be probably one of the truest forms that we've seen on screen of the Batman. Because every Batman that we've seen so far, they haven't utilized him at all. They haven't utilized the detective aspect of him. A little teeny tiny bit in Batman Begins. There wasn't really any other detective work that we saw in the Batman cinematic universe. I mean, the only other time I can think of is when he reconstructed that bullet from The Dark Knight. But everything else, it was just these little tiny moments peppered throughout. I think we're actually going to be getting the Detective Batman. And if we are, we could be getting a neo-noir Batman film from the guy who did Argo, The Town, Gone Baby Gone, and his next directorial effort, which is going to be Live by Night. The dude's also just recently worked with David Fincher. I mean, the knowledge and capability that he brings to the table, I think, is perfect for this role, perfect for directing the movie. Him writing with Jeff Johns, I think, is going to bring a whole new level to a superhero movie. I don't think we've really been introduced to a situation like this. This would be like, Frank Miller writing a Batman movie. This would have been like him coming on board The Dark Knight Rise, or The Dark Knight, Batman v Superman, The Dark Knight Returns, and actually helping out with the script. Like, this is that level of infusion from the comics world to the movies world. And I think this is a stroke of genius. Now, again, it could end up being bad. There's no way for us to tell. The movie is likely, it's been rumored before, and it is likely to have a 2018 release. Now, I doubt they're going to do a November 2018 release, only because that's going to come out, like, DC's going to take a lot of flack if they do that, because that's going to go head-to-head with, I believe, is it Captain Marvel? I think it is Captain Marvel. They're going to get so much flack if they go head-to-head. If they move a movie now in the place to fight Captain Marvel, they're going to get a lot of flack for that, because that's going to be like a whole sexist argument and all this stuff. I don't subscribe to that at all, but I know that I've seen, when it was rumored that it was going to be a 2018 release and they were speculating November, a lot of people were coming out and attacking them, saying, oh, they're attacking, they're going after Captain Marvel because they want to see a female superhero fail and all this kind of. I didn't subscribe to any of that at all, but other people do. And that's the worry. If they were to do maybe, an October release, or, I mean, because we've got, in 2018, we have The Flash, I think, in March, and then Aquaman in July. So they couldn't do an August release date. That's too close to Aquaman. They would have to do an October, November release date. But you got to be careful when treading in those waters. That's the one thing. We're probably going to get more information tomorrow morning at Warner Brothers DC panel, because it's an hour and a half long panel. The majority of it, I'm assuming, is going to be Batman v Superman, unless they pull an Open Road Films. Like, I was really kind of bummed out yesterday, because Open Road, I was really looking forward to seeing what they had from Max Steel. That movie's supposed to come out, I think, in October, and we've only seen a couple of pictures from it. And while yes, it was cool to have Bill Murray come out on stage, he was on stage for an hour, and unless you were in the convention, it was a waste. It really was. Now, I understand that these things are for the people in those rooms, but when you think about how much it cost Open Road to actually have that panel, and for it just to be a spot for Bill Murray just to come out and chat, I think that was a wasted opportunity. And then Lionsgate's was good, absolutely, but they only did Hunger Games. They didn't do anything about The Last Witch Hunter, anything of that sort. And it was just kind of, what's your favorite memory from the set and all this. Like, it was in the interview, and it just was a wasted opportunity. Yesterday was very much a letdown, I would say. And then today we've got the Star Wars panel. This has the potential to really raise this convention to the roof. But tomorrow I got like 5 or 6 panels that I'm going to be covering. So I'm excited for it, but yeah, I mean, Ben Affleck directing and co-writing The Batman, absolutely. Sign me up. I'm on board. Done. I mean, we're going to get more insight when we see Batman v Superman next year, but I have a feeling we have our definitive Batman, and now we have the guy not only portraying him, who's also should have been an Academy Award-winning director. He is an Academy Award-winning writer, and he is going to be working with the co-creative, or the chief creative officer of DC Comics to bring this character to life. Yes. Sign me up. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you on board with this? Do you not like Ben Affleck as directing? Do you want him to just act in it and get somebody else to direct? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And if you have any more comments or questions, put a comment in the comment section below or email me at movienewswithniklsun@gmail.com. We'll try to get to them as often as we can on the show. But if we do get more information about this topic, then I will definitely update you guys on here. Well, that'll about do it for this episode of Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have been a great audience. Go ahead and click that subscribe button there in the bottom corner. You can get updates whenever we post a new video. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Niklsun, Niklsun, for all of your movie updates. And also give our Facebook page a like at facebook.com/movie news with Niklsun. Make sure you guys check back later on tonight when I'm going to be covering the Star Wars Lucasfilm panel, which is going to be Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 till 10. So I'll probably have an episode up around 11. That's at least what I'm hoping for. It'll probably be closer to midnight, but yeah, be on the lookout for that because we're likely to get a lot more information and possible confirmations of news that has come out over the past week. So check back for that. If you guys ever have a comment or a question you'd like to have talked about on the show, you can go ahead and put a comment in the comment section, or you can go ahead and email me at movienewswithniklsun@gmail.com. That's NIKLSUN@gmail.com. And on as many times as we can, we're going to cover as many questions as we can. Just the last couple of weeks have been hectic, just for me personally, but then also we have now Comic-Con. So next week I'll be getting to those questions, but definitely submit them if you guys have them, because I love sparking discussions and stuff like that. So definitely do that. But yeah, until next time, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.